Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification to the right.
World champion, former lightweight, world champion, former light welterweight, world champion and reigning, defending WBO welterweight champion of the world, the fighting pride of the Philippines, Manny Pacman Pacquiao.
It all started on one night that would shock the world forever. What was that night? It was February 11th, 1990. Then, undefeated, undisputed heavyweight champion Mike Tyson was fighting a major underdog in Buster Douglas in the Tokyo Dome. Buster Douglas was supposed to be a warm-up bout for Tyson before he would go on to meet number one heavyweight contender, Evander Holyfield. People expected the fight to be over in 90 seconds with Mike Tyson dominating Buster like sushi. But it lasted much longer than that. Near the end of the 8th round, Mike Tyson knocked Buster Douglas with an uppercut. It seemed like it was over, but you see, Buster Douglas didn't give up. He survived the uppercut and he got back up. He kept fighting and fighting. In the 9th round and in the 10th round, Buster knocked out Mike Tyson with an uppercut of his own and became the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. It was the biggest upset in boxing history, and it proved to the world that the underdog can win. And guess what? A young 12-year-old boy saw that Cinderella fight and became so inspired by it. Who was that young boy? That young boy was none other than Manny Pacquiao. In this video, we are going to talk about the inspirational story of Manny Pacquiao. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe and hit the little bell notification to the right so you'll be notified anytime we have new videos. Manny Pacquiao was born in 1978 in Cabawe, a small borough in the southern Philippines. He was born in poverty, with his family peddling anything they could find to put food into their belly. They were so poor at the time that they could not even afford rice and had to eat bananas and root crops to survive. Sometimes, the family would just drink water to fill their stomach. To find more work, his family decided to move to General Santos City, into a shack owned by his uncle Sardo Meja. Local boxers trained in this area, and Pacquiao, even as a kid, showed a lot of passion for boxing. Although his mother wanted Pacquiao to become a priest, Uncle Sardo encouraged Pacquiao to box and later train him, even though his mother hated the sport. Pacquiao would watch Betamax tapes of world heavyweight fights with his uncle and was inspired by greats like Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson. One night, Manny Pacquiao's father came home drunk and killed Pacquiao's dog over an argument, a puppy that Pacquiao loved. Pacquiao felt so helpless, unable to stop his father. Pacquiao's father would eventually leave the family. With prospects in General Santos bleak, and with the need to support his family, Manny ran off to Manila to train in a run-down gym and to find work to support his family. He slept inside the rink and in cardboard boxes, where he bought donuts at a donut store and then sold each one for a nickel more to survive. But he always dreamed of becoming a professional boxer. One opponent at a time, Pacquiao would slowly make a name for himself as an amateur boxer. At age 16, he made his pro debut. He was so skinny that he fought 7 pounds under his weight. He put heavy objects in his pocket, just to make weight. Manny Pacquiao's electrifying fighting style earned him the admiration of his fans. He had power and he had guts. He made only $20 for his first fight, but he kept going and going. And slowly, Pacquiao kept winning and kept winning. He had speed, he had strength, he had stamina, and he had toughness. Most importantly, he had heart. He earned a reputation as someone who could end a fight anytime he wanted with a single punch. At the age of 17, Pacquiao started receiving a regular diet of food, and his body began to mature, and he kept winning and winning. At 23 wins, Pacquiao would contend for his first international belt against Chachai Sasakol, an international Thailand boxing champion. The fight was a tough fight for Pacquiao, but after a crackling body shot, Pacquiao knocked the Thailand champion down. Manny Pacquiao had finally came of age in Thailand, and he became a world champion. From a street kid in poverty to the WBC World Flyweight title holder. After a few more years fighting in Asia, the time had come for Pacquiao to move to America. Despite being a champion in Asia, he could not find a promoter to work with him until he met Freddie Roach. Roach had trained over 25 championship fighters before, but when he first met Pacquiao and started working the mitts with him, he was amazed. "Wow, this kid can fight," Roach said. After working together for a while, an opportunity presented itself for Pacquiao when Enrique Sanchez, with just 2 weeks' notice, could not face IBF Super Bantamweight champion Lalo Ledwaba. Pacquiao was still a relative unknown at this time internationally, and keep in mind, Pacquiao had only competed 3 times outside the Philippines in 34 career bouts. But boy, did Pacquiao deliver in the fight. Pacquiao used his speed and ferocity and dropped the champion 3 times, including a straight left hand that sent him to the mat for good for a TKO victory in round 6. Suddenly, an international boxing superstar was born, and Pacquiao and Roach had won their first world title together. Pacquiao had become the IBF Super Bantamweight champion. In the Philippines, he became the king of the Philippines. From peasants to politicians, they all wanted to see the kid who fought his way from poverty to one of the top places in the world. But Pacquiao did not let fame get to his head and kept working hard. Soon, he would step up to 126 pounds and go up against 3-time world champion Marco Antonio Barrera, one of the best Mexican fighters in boxing history. They said the jump up in weight was too much for Pacquiao and that Barrera was too big. Barrera opened up as a 4-1 favorite, but Pacquiao opened with a flurry of punches. Barrera could not handle Pacquiao, and in round 11, his trainer called the fight off. It was over. It was over. Pacquiao was now a 3-time world champion in 3 different weight classes. At home, Pacquiao became a star of movies, TV shows, endorsements. Wherever Pacquiao went, people would follow him all over. 6 months after the fight with Barrera, Pacquiao would find a new rival in Juan Marquez, who at the time held both the WBA and IBF featherweight titles. In their first fight, Pacquiao and Marquez would go toe-to-toe in the fight. It was a terrific performance from both fighters, and the fight ended in a tie. This further cemented Pacquiao's rising star status. Despite his success in the boxing ring, Pacquiao wanted to give back, and he was always giving back to his community, giving his people food and money. One of the best fights in his career was against Erik Morales. The fight was an instant classic, a dizzying back and forth display of violence, and despite losing his first fight in the 130-pound division, Pacquiao would go on to face many opponents, and soon enough he would fight the golden boy of boxing himself, Oscar De La Hoya. There was a lot of build-up to this fight, with many saying Oscar De La Hoya was too much for Pacquiao. But Pacquiao would completely dominate Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya would later say, "He was the greatest boxer I ever faced." No one had ever managed to go up in size and maintain their power like Pacquiao. Pacquiao became the first person in boxing history to maintain championships in 4 different weight divisions. And opponent after opponent, Pacquiao would keep dominating. Boxing was not enough for Pacquiao, and he was elected to Congress in the Philippines, and he also became very well known for his charitable work. Some people would say all his ventures outside of boxing and his congressional career led to many distractions. In his 4th rematch against Juan Marquez, Marquez dunked one of Pacquiao's jabs and unloaded a right hand to Pacquiao's mouth, and Pacquiao was knocked out. Despite criticism from some people saying that he was not focused for the fight and should retire to focus on his congressional career, Pacquiao still won the respect of his opponents. Juan Marquez said, "Pacquiao is a legend and a great fighter." Pacquiao wanted to be more than just a fighter. He wanted to be a symbol of hope. And you probably are all familiar with the fight of the century. After years of back and forth, Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao finally fought. The purse was set for over $400 million. And although Pacquiao lost the fight by decision, his performance continued to inspire millions of people all over the world, and he gave away half of his earnings in the fight to charity. In July 2019, Pacquiao also became the oldest welterweight world champion in history at the age of 40 when he defeated Keith Thurman to win the WBA Super Welterweight title. And today, in 2020, Pacquiao is preparing to fight Conor McGregor and to also donate a huge portion of his earnings in the fight. Manny Pacquiao is the only 8-division world champion in the history of boxing, and he has won 12 major world titles. At home, he is happily married with 5 children. He went from a starving street kid to the Senator of the Philippines, an international boxing superstar. Yet he stays humble and he never forgets his roots. He quoted of his early years, "Many of you know me as a legendary boxer, and I'm proud of that. However, that journey was not always easy. When I was younger, I became a fighter because I had to survive. I had nothing. I had no one to depend on except myself. I realized that boxing was something that I was good at, and I trained hard so that I could keep myself and my family alive." What does the inspirational story of Manny Pacquiao teach us? Manny Pacquiao had every excuse in the book to fail. He was a starving kid that was born into poverty. He had a broken family, no food, no home, nowhere to go, no money, but he still persevered today through his hard work. You see, a lot of us go through difficulty in life as well. We get hurt. We get disappointed. We get broken. We suffer setbacks. We go through failure. Bad things happen to us. We lose people we care about. Friends we love like family betray us. It's hard for us to keep going and keep fighting through all this hurt, all this pain. But you see, despite all these difficulties, how we respond determines the character of who we are. You see, Pacquiao wasn't perfect either. He has gotten knocked out before. He has gotten beaten. He's been humiliated. He has been bleeding. But every time, every single time, he has gotten back up, trained harder, used setbacks as inspiration, and used failure to motivate him, and he kept fighting. So, let me ask you a question. Are you gonna keep fighting too? I hope you enjoyed this video. Our channel focuses on inspirational and motivational stories that touch upon holistic health, meditation, and daily 1% improvement. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification to the right so you'll be notified anytime we have a new video. Also, if you want to learn more about Manny Pacquiao's life story, make sure you check out the book called Pac-Man: Behind the Scenes with Manny Pacquiao, the greatest pound-for-pound fighter in the world, linked in the description below. It will truly motivate you. So, what are you gonna keep fighting for? Drop a comment below and we'll be sure to address it in our next video. Until then, see you next time.